Hi, Bev again with another video. And today's video, I want to talk about some of the weight training principles, right? I talk about this kind of thing in my book, Are You Fat Making or Calorie Burning? But in particular, why do people like me, why do I carry around a notebook in the gym? What am I tracking and why am I tracking it? So, load. Load is basically the amount of resistance or the amount of weight that you use in whatever exercise you're doing. But I want you to keep in mind that the weight provided by whatever you're using to lift weights may vary significantly, even though it may appear to be the same. So for example, tubing is going to be different than dumbbells because tubing, when you start the exercise and you start to pull the tubing out, it's easy. But when you pull it out as far as it goes, it's much harder, right? Floor machines are going to give you a mechanical advantage. Cables, you may get on a cable machine and it says 50 pounds and you're pushing the weight down, you're thinking, wow, this is a hell of a lot harder than that other machine. Well, the other machine may say 50 pounds as well. What you have to do on cables is count the number of pulleys, because the more pulleys there are, the easier that 50 pounds is going to be. So I'm just pointing out that, if you're exercising using something, you can only compare it to the same thing. You can't go and compare it to some other method of lifting weights. Okay. The next thing is effort, and that really is a measure of your intensity or the level of difficulty in the exercise that you're performing. And this is kind of related to load. It's based on the number of reps that you do, the number of sets that you do, and the load or the weight that you use for that exercise. But you have to remember that there is a reverse relationship between the number of reps that you use and the load or the weight that you're using. So there is an intensity, I'll call it continuum, and it will deal with endurance, strength, and power. So any exercise you do is going to improve endurance, strength, and power. But you can stress one of those three more so by doing your weight slightly differently. Endurance is more of a metabolic adaptation, and power is kind of a neural adaptation, and strength is sort of in the middle. So if you're after endurance, and when you think of endurance, you think of being able to do something for a long time, right? Then you're going to have high reps and not as much weight. You may only be lifting 30-35% of your normal weight for more than 20 reps, okay? That's going to increase your endurance more than strength and power. And on the other end of the continuum, power. If you only have a few reps, but you have a hell of a lot of weight, let's say the reps are only 1 to 5, that is going to increase your power, okay? And you usually lift much faster in power because that's a physics equation, right? Power always involves speed. So I'm just saying that the difficulty is spread over a continuum. But basically, the higher your difficulty or your intensity or your effort, then the more muscle fibers you're going to recruit. Okay, there's no getting around that. The next thing is amount, which is the volume of your workload. And so, I might say for each muscle group, you might work it out 2 to 3 times a week, and maybe 18 to 24 sets weekly. So that's volume. And when I'm writing down, I said in my my notebook as I travel between exercises, I'm generally tracking this kind of thing. What's my weight? What's my volume? All that kind of thing. Frequency, pretty simple. The number of workout days per week. So I would say for a beginner, if you're just beginning, 3 days a week is fine. And as you get more seasoned, you may get up to 5 and 6 days a week. We should all take at least 1 day off. But your lifestyle is going to affect your frequency, right? So what I would say is all 4 of these things are going to impact upon each other. There's no doubt about that. And And they're also great measures to track your progress, right? And to keep seeing muscle growth. And the higher you get in volume, intensity, weight, all this, and the more times you go to the gym, the more calorie burning you're going to do, right? Now, I want to say, you know, if you think of a leaf floating down, floating down, floating down, it is going down and it's going to reach your goal. It's going to take a while. This leaf that you should be tracking is going to get you to your fitness goals. No doubt about it. But look like the big boys, carry a notebook and a pen. Okay? So I'll see you in the next video, and don't forget to buy my book. Bye-bye.